There's a moment you've lived through countless times, a moment so quick you barely notice it, yet it silently drains your wallet. You pick up your phone, open an app, walk into a store, and your brain, without your permission, starts preparing to spend money. Not because you want to, not because you need to, but because your brain is wired to do something you never consciously agreed to. So here's the question almost nobody ever asks. Why does your brain make you spend money you don't even want to spend? The answer is far stranger and far more scientific than most people realize. Let's start with something subtle. Imagine you've had a long day. You're tired, overstimulated, maybe a little stressed. At that exact moment, your brain becomes incredibly vulnerable. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. When your mental resources run low, your ability to resist temptation collapses. And here's the twist. Brands know this. That's why peak online shopping hours are in the evening when your brain is too drained to fight back. But that still doesn't explain everything. So let's dig deeper. Your brain has a built-in shortcut system, heuristics, designed to save time and energy. These shortcuts worked well for survival, but in the modern world, they hijack your financial behavior. For example, the scarcity shortcut. When you see only two left or a countdown timer, your brain interprets it as danger, not marketing. A University of Nebraska study found that scarcity cues push people into irrational spending because the brain switches from logic to survival mode. You're not buying the item, you're avoiding the imagined threat of losing it. Now, let's pull the rug again. Another hidden force controls your spending. Reward anticipation. Neuroscience research shows that dopamine, the chemical driving motivation, spikes before you make a purchase, not after. Meaning, you're not addicted to buying things, you're addicted to the feeling you get right before you buy. This is why something can sit unopened for days after arriving. The reward already happened. Your brain has moved on. But there's an even more powerful psychological trick at work. Your brain treats certain types of money as less real. Behavioral economist Richard Thaler calls this mental accounting, the tendency to treat all money differently depending on how it enters your life. Refunds feel like winnings. Bonuses feel like free cash. Tap to pay feels like no payment at all. And that not real money illusion makes spending easier, sometimes automatic. But we're not finished. There's one more force at play, and it's the most personal of all. Emotional regulation. When you're lonely, stressed, bored, anxious, overwhelmed, your brain searches for quick relief. Shopping becomes emotional first aid. A Stanford study found that anticipating a purchase temporarily reduces stress by activating the brain's reward circuitry. You think you're buying an object. Your brain thinks you're buying calm. And that brings us to the truth most people never hear. You don't overspend because you're irresponsible. You overspend because your brain is doing exactly what it's wired to do: conserve energy, avoid pain, chase relief, and simplify decisions. But once you become aware of these invisible tricks, the power shifts. You stop being influenced, you start influencing. Because the moment you can see the trap, you're no longer the one falling into it.